Hey, welcome to the Elle Russ Show. My name is Elle Russ, and I am a #1 best-selling author and master coach. My intention is to inspire, educate, and motivate you with weekly content featuring amazing guests and solo episodes. Visit my website, elleruss.com, to learn more about me, my courses, free masterclasses, partner discounts, and much more. Enjoy the show. Hey everyone, I have my good friend and double certified health coach, Elizabeth Resnick, with me today. We're actually going to fill out the rest of December with a variety of episodes. So check back next week and the week after, because we will have a few topics we're going to cover. One will be health and summer mindset, and we're going to mix it all up. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elle. So happy to be here.
I love it. We did recently, by the way, everyone, and we will probably do one at some point at the end of January or maybe February, but we did a paleo reset webinar where we sort of talked about the principles of paleo, did some encouraging sort of tips and tricks and things and ways to look at, because we know everyone's going to go to the holidays, and sometimes it happens. You just can't, and then you just feel like, or the traveling, you're out of your routine, you can't exercise, and now you ate 5 pies. So stay tuned and sign up for Elizabeth's newsletter and mine as well, so that we can alert you when that happens. It'll be free and on Zoom. So Elizabeth and I the topic we're going to talk about today is staying power and also leaving courage, but staying power in terms of staying in the game, perseverance, persistence on almost anything, but usually it's regarding an aim, a goal, and intention. And I was reminded of this recently because Elizabeth, how long have you been like out on Instagram, sort of, promoting health and giving people tips and, to weight loss tips and stuff?
Almost 8 years. Almost 8 years. So I started my original blog November 2nd, 2015, which was holistic health for the woman who wants to feel happy, healthy, and hot. And then I stepped onto Instagram in spring of 2016. So I couldn't tell you, so it's been over 7.5 years that I have been creating content on Instagram daily.
Right. And then we cut to recent times where over the years, you've had steady growth, you've got steady following, people always keep coming back, people are marking your recipes. And even myself, I'm like, oh, wait, what are those fudge brownies she's making with sweet potatoes? Hold on a second. You know what I mean? So I know you've got a lot of that, but then there was just such a recent explosion. And this is why also, too, you do stay in the game, and it's not staying in the game resistant or out of spite or ego. It's that Elizabeth's just passionate about this, and this is what she loves to do, and it shows through on your Instagram. So tell us the chain of events that happened with you being like, wait, hold on, what's happening on Facebook, and then where it is now.
It's crazy. So short version is 2.5 weeks ago, I had 17,000 followers and I don't even like the word followers, but a community. I built a community of 17,000 on Instagram organically over 7.5 years. And there were times of some fast growth, especially when I went from like 7,000 to 10,000. But other than that, it's been slow and extremely slow and steady. And, that's been fun. I always look at it as I'm building this real community. I want people here that want to be here, speaking to my audience. And I love I truly love doing this. I love creating content that can be helpful to people. It lights me up. It's so much fun for me. Are there times that I wish it were growing faster or getting more engagement? Absolutely. So I had a little mindset shift back in September and started looking at some things differently. And that's almost a whole separate story. But regardless, I am continuing to do the same things. I started deciding to show up even a little more to increase my presence, to post more consistently, a little more frequently. And it started with a Well, would you like me to share the crazy little mindset shift? Because I think that might be important.
Well, let's start with the haters, because the haters is what kind of brought the mindset. Just there's some like haters on Facebook. Talk about that, because you didn't even know like your stuff was posting automatically to Facebook. You're rarely on Facebook, right?
Right.
As I recall it, you went there and then you saw some shit. And you were like, ooh, bummer, and then you had that mindset shift, and then it blew up. Yeah.
So my stuff from Instagram goes automatically to Facebook, most of it, and one post in particular that was the same stuff I post on Instagram all the time. I take these weekly. Every week I take a picture or video of myself in a bikini every Sunday morning. This is something I do to hold myself accountable, and I'll post them either in my Instagram stories or as a post, and I'll talk about why I'm doing this, that I show up consistently, that this keeps me, kind of on track, so to speak. So I do this all the time. One of those every single week. One of those posts, when it went to Facebook, it went viral. I don't do anything on Facebook. And along with all of these views of this video that was getting saved and shared, where I'm saying the same thing I would say, this is 57, no filters, came some major haters. I mean, really mean stuff was being said. People just ripping me apart. People I don't even know. And, I've been through that before in my personal life a few years ago with people that I do know, where I was going through a difficult situation and really had to learn to hold space for this, to sit with these uncomfortable feelings, and I know you talk about this in your confidence book, Ellen, in your confidence course, to not defend or justify myself, but to, again, block people. You can stand up for yourself, but that I don't need to explain what I'm doing or say, well, here's why I'm doing these things. So I just let the haters hate, because there's no point in engaging with these people. And I turned it into, instead of like, oh my gosh, why are these people saying this? I turned it into, they can't take their eyes off of me. And this was a huge mindset shift for me. They can't take their eyes off of me. And I just started using that as an affirmation, because I am a visible person who wants to be more visible, to spread this message and to build my business. And so I just didn't look at the haters. I didn't pay attention. I didn't respond or engage, and kept doing these same things on Instagram, keep showing up, and
exploded.
Yes, there was a video. So again, doing the same things I'm always doing. Posted a video late October. The new Taylor Swift 1989 Taylor's version was released that day. So I thought, I should do something with some of this music. Took the song Wildest Dreams that I happen to love, added a clip of not same old clip, but same material I use a lot. And it was just a picture of me walking in a bikini, set to the tune of Wildest Dreams, said, this is 57, no filters. Same. I mean, this is I do this all the time.
And that's what I love. It's the same thing, but a different response. And also you could have taken the moment you made the mindset shift, like that moment is, why are all these people like coming at me kind of thing? Like, of course you're feeling like, oh my God, like, why are all these, and that's kind of, it's just so interesting to shift it to like, oh no, they're coming here because they just can't take their
eyes off of me.
And then you use some of the haters and their little clips of like their little
so then I've turned
things they say. Yeah.
I've turned that into new content, but which is amazing. But so this Instagram post at 2 or 3 seconds of me walking by my sister's pool in a bikini, set to the tune of Wildest Dreams, saying the same thing, that this is 57, no filters, talking about love your body and your life. You can eat real food, all the same things I always say. This video has over 1.3 million views.
And your cookbook is selling, and people are coming into your email list. And this is, you guys, if you're passionate, you stay in there. You keep doing what you don't know when it's going to hit. Look, I mean, I was a writer for many years, never got paid for all of those things until one day I was. Yeah. I was passionate about it. I love to do it. And despite some of the things where you're like, oh, I'd like to see that, or I'd like to see more traction there, at some point. And then also the mindset shift as well. And I love that, because those haters prompted a mindset shift that, by the way, you could have adopted earlier. So, hey, everyone listening, right? Like, you know what I mean? If you are like Elizabeth and you'd like some attention to your Instagram, what a great affirmation.
Yes. And I want to say too about the affirmation, it was an affirmation that just felt good to me. So I kept using it. And that's the whole thing with affirmations. If they feel crappy, don't use them. If they don't align with you, if they don't feel right, the right one is this just felt so good. So
Right.
I
Like
was
I wouldn't use that affirmation. That just wouldn't
right.
somehow register with me and what I do and what I want. Like it just wouldn't, but it's perfect for you. So that's a great point. Make it so that it works for you. If you like her phrase and you want to rephrase it, right? Just use another
Right.
word, another, yeah.
Right. So take, don't just say, oh, well, this is a good thing. Everybody uses this affirmation. If it doesn't feel good to you, if it doesn't resonate for you, come up with your own, play around with it. Different things work for me at different times, but this just felt good. Now they really can't take their eyes off of me. And that my 50-calorie brownie recipe, which really is amazing. And I take it to parties and nobody can believe the deal with these brownies. That the last time I posted it, that recipe alone had over 6,000 saves. And I just posted it. So my stuff is going crazy. Cookbooks are selling. Everything's blowing up. And it was really, it's all from me doing the same things that I've been doing, that I enjoy doing, that I'm passionate about. There was that mindset shift. And now I'm rolling with it. I'm not stopping. So the other message there is like, when things do blow up, keep doing the things you're doing. Don't get off track with the habits that got you there.
Yeah, I love that. I want to talk about a couple of really wonderful staying power stories, aside from my own and whatever everyone could read about that, or if they're listening and know me well enough, they're like, yeah, we know the story.
Yeah,
but
great one.
Johnny Castle is a great, Johnny Castle, last name is Kastl. You could look him up. So back in the day, back in 2000, we're acting in LA, and we used to do these casting director workshops where they would give you sides from TV shows that either they were casting that hadn't been out yet, or just, and you'd read them in front of them, they'd give you notes and all that kind of thing. And it was an opportunity for casting directors to see you and know your work so that, hey, they might call you in, right? That was sort of the point. And they still go on and people do them. So we were doing them back in the day, and Johnny had been doing them for a year, and he'd been doing them, so many of them. No one was calling him in for auditions. And he started to be down on himself. And it was right before we were all hanging out as actors, and he's about to go into a workshop with casting directors. And he was just kind of down on himself. He's like, I don't know why I keep doing no one's calling me in. I wonder if maybe I should just stop doing it. Maybe I should just give up. Right. And so another actor that was there was like, Johnny, they're like, listen, just go in and have fun, man. You do that. Why are you doing this? He's like, well, it's fun. I love it. Great. Just go in there and have fun. Forget about whether or not the resistance of hiring me or just go in and have fun. Fuck it. Who cares? Just go fuck it. Who gives a shit? Just go in, just don't give a shit anymore. He went in there. He had a workshop with this one casting director. They were the ones after a year of doing this that called him in, and they called him in for an audition for one word. Okay. Just one word, not even a line, not a sentence. Mm-hmm. One word, and the word was oh, okay, literally OH. That was the word. They called him in for one word on the pilot episode of Scrubs, which was a very popular show back in the day.
Yes.
All right. They call him in. He gets the gig. So now he's on the pilot. Now the show gets picked up. Johnny was on that show from 2001 to 2009, to the point where his character had an entire episode around it. He was Doug, the nervous intern on that show, and was in it for a lot. That is a lot of money. He was also in the host. He got other opportunities because of it. And that was the mindset shift moment there that person offered to him. And it freaking worked. However, the other great part of Johnny is that here's the part of leaving courage, staying power and leaving courage.
Yes.
Most actors in his position with that long of a run as a guest star, on a show would stay in it. Because you're oh my God, you already have, right, this incredible resume. Don't leave, don't bail on that. Why would you bail on that? Actors would be jealous of that type of momentum, that type of, escalation in one's career. Right. And yet he met a woman. They wanted to settle down, get married. They wanted to raise their kids in the Midwest. She got some, amazing job as a doctor or some kind of medical thing, at some place that they couldn't turn down. And he kind of wasn't interested in anymore. And it wasn't that he bailed. It wasn't that he settled. He just was I just kind of want to live a different life now. And I'm sure that was a rough detachment there, right? But
Right.
it also was something else was pulling him now that desire had changed and he didn't stay attached to it. Now, that's not to say quit and give up, but it wasn't a quit and give up. He could have stayed in. He had the best reasons to stay in. Everyone in the industry would have gone, stay in, man. You're almost there, right? Like you're about ready to be a full-time, full-fledged, really making rolling money as an actor. But he wanted to do something different and live a different life. And so that's the other side of it too. We get to attach to stories or things that we create our identities. And, I was a sketch comedy actor, like I'm not a book writer or whatever kind of stories. And you have to change. And the same thing happened on an acting tip too with Cindy Lou, who and who's in my confidence course, but she's got a real long rap sheet of television shows that she's been on. She could easily jump back into the entertainment industry anytime she wanted and get auditions and book roles as an actor. She doesn't want to. And literally actors would go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that's my dream to have a resume like yours to be able to. And she's just like, not my thing. It's not my thing. I really don't want, like, I have no interest. She has no interest. But once could never have imagined saying that. So, but then when it happened, like with Johnny or with her or whoever, or you out there, something else is pulling you in other directions. Sometimes it can be a bittersweet, sad ending to kind of cut ties with this former story of whatever it was you were pursuing that you're now leaving. And that takes courage and that's tough. And that takes confidence because people are going to be like, oh, so I thought you wanted to be an actor though. Like you're still going to get projections of bullshit from people questioning that. So you got to have a thick skin on the way out of something too.
Yes, because people use that to define you. And here's something that I can relate that to. As you know, I was a vegetarian for over 30 years, never made a huge deal about it. I just ate the way I ate. But a lot of people made that part of my identity. And then it was very weird for them when I was no longer a vegetarian, when I was like chowing down on filet and, because I made changes for my own health and I'm feeling better but people struggled with that because that was part of their identity. That was part of the way they labeled me, the way they identified me.
Yes. Similarly, Eli Rohde, a long time ago, one of the first Primal Blueprint episodes, but longtime vegetarian, had acne, was an esthetician, realized, oh my God, I have to go paleo, right? And suffering in other ways. So she was a proselytizing vegetarian. And so was her mother. And so she was really out there like pushing it too, so then that's even worse. Cause she's created this extra identity of like trying to force people into it right over the years. Right. And I remember the funniest part of that interview and in general is I said, well, like what, cause you always wonder with the vegetarian, like what's their first foray into eating the animal thing again, or the fish or like whatever. And she said, well, I had always, when I would smell bacon cooking, I thought like, oh, that smells really good. So maybe I'll start there. And she said she went and got like 7-Eleven store bacon, like it was some shit, probably like whatever brand of bacon. And she said she brought it to a friend's house because she was like ashamed and embarrassed and weirded out about even cooking it in her own apartment because again,
oh my gosh,
she had such an attachment to being this. It was almost like hiding in secret, right? It's like, yeah. And it's just so funny. But yes, it's again, it's an identity. So on that note, I guess I'd love to hear other thoughts you have, but I think we just wanted to make these short and sweet and talk about maybe looking forward to the new year in general. What do you need to sort of walk away from or leap into more like, right? And is there something you need to stay in and give a little bit more effort and attention and maybe change some, affirmations and mindset around? And so where are you with this in your life, and I don't know what other thoughts you have on the topic.
Well, I would just add that, something that I say all the time is it's the small actions done consistently that compound over time to yield amazing results. Now, they can also yield shitty results if you're taking the, shitty actions. But basically, it's this whole idea that these little things that we're doing regularly. So I always encourage people, and I do this myself, and I do this kind of at the start of each month or each quarter, is I look at what am I doing on a daily basis? What are my daily habits? And I mean, now they're pretty consistent, but I still switch them up. I still look at where can I tweak things. So if there's that thing, whatever it is, I mean, for me, it's a morning routine where I don't, as active as I am on social media, I will not look at my phone for hours until I've been up and I've done everything, because I need to connect with myself before I start like connecting with everybody else or consuming other content. So to figure out these small actions that you're going to take, because they really do, showing up for yourself consistently, creating content consistently, if that's what you're doing, like it does compound over time.
Absolutely. It does. And you're the result of it now, which is partially why we're talking about. And I had the idea to do this episode. All right, Elizabeth, tell everyone how they can find you.
Well, the best place is on Instagram. I'm at happy, healthy, and hot _Elizabeth. And through there, you can find my cookbook, my journal. There's tons of free tips right on my page. That is really the best place to find me, where I am most active every single day.
And we'll put the link in the show notes as well to make sure everyone can connect and get your cookbook and your journal and get free tips from you every week into their inbox. All right. And we will have Elizabeth back next week and the week after for a couple of other different topics. All right. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Hey, listeners. Over the years, a ton of companies have approached me to collaborate, but I will only promote companies whose products I believe in and that I actually use and consume on a regular basis. So let me tell you about some of my favorite companies that I can offer you discounts for. Rep Provisions, an amazing company doing incredible things for our planet, topsoil, and animals with regenerative agriculture, and it's my #1 source for quality pasture-raised meat and chicken. Visit repprovisions.com and use code L15 for 15% off. I'm also obsessed with a company called Carnivore Crisps. They make a lean, all-natural, and delicious alternative to conventional snacking, made with just real meat and real salt. Totally addictive, and my favorite ones are the beef brisket and the ribeye. Visit carnivorecrisps.com and use code PALEO10 for 10% off. I also love and regularly use Paleo Valley products. They make amazing supplements and delicious paleo products. I use the superfood greens powder, grass-fed beef sticks, the organ complex, and their bone broth bars. I love the lemon and apple. I also use their essential C complex and more. Visit paleovalley.com/promos/Elle Russ for 15% off. I also love Primal Kitchen. They make delicious paleo-approved, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and no refined sugar products. And I use them daily, from their collagen powders and sauces and marinades to their avocado and olive oil. So good, so healthy. Visit primalkitchen.com and use code L10 for 10% off. I also love paleo powder and use it almost on everything I cook. They make incredible seasoning blends, and they also have these incredible grain-free coatings that feel just like crispy breadings that you would have had prior to knowing that there's another way. So visit paleopowder.com and use code L15 for 15% off.